Western world have reached their peak.
This is Peter Obi using his leverage, or sucker punch if you like, by announcing this early that he is building a structure for the 2027 presidential election. That means he's getting back at the people that are telling him to move to PDP, to deputize Atiku, to do all that. They are all trying to undermine his nationwide support. He has done it before. He was able to garner the allocated 6 million votes. No one has ever done it in Nigeria's history. Besides, he revealed he scored 10 million votes. You will hear all that in the speech he made while addressing Obedience and other Nigerians on an X Space. This is Peter Obi basically saying, hey, I'm still a beautiful bride. I did it in 2023. I will do it again in 2027. By the time he finishes assembling his structure, many parties will be begging him to come and run under their party. Many people right now want to join the moving train. They want to run under any party he belongs to. They want to take advantage, like the people who are in the National Assembly and others that won elections in 2023 that rode on his platform. Because of his good name, they were voted into power. Many people want to repeat the same thing in 2027. So it's nice that he's starting early by building the structure, by making it clear to especially the Labour Party leaders, if you don't put your house in order, after all, I made you what you are. No one knew Labour Party before. It was because I ran under Labour Party that people voted for me. They didn't vote for him because of Labour Party. So it is left for Labour Party to put their house in order. Like Peter Obi always says, he's a due process person. He will never force people to do things that they don't want to do. He will always advise. If they refuse, he cannot force them. Yes, INEC still poses a serious problem to free and fair elections in Nigeria, but that wouldn't stop Nigerians from doing things that are within their power. Amending electoral laws to guarantee free and fair elections are necessary, but Nigerians can only demand for it. Federal lawmakers are responsible for amending the laws. Unfortunately, majority of them are of the APC. Are they going to amend the laws that will guarantee that they will never return to power? So like Peter Obi said in the speech, there's no other way of doing this. This is for people who always say, I'm tired of everything, politics in Nigeria, that they are giving up. If you give up, that means they have won, because all the frustration and obstacles are engineered to make you give up. Once you give up, they have won. They will say, we achieved our aim. So we have to keep fighting.
Where we are now, it is time to start talking on that structural issue, which we still want to do gradually. Because we now believe that we now have people who believe in this new Nigeria we're preaching, people who are ready to sacrifice for it, people who are ready to wait for it. We have now a reasonable number to start talking about it. So now is the time for a strong socio-political structure across the country, across the 30 states, one that includes not just hardcore obedience, but also over 6 to 10 million. Because I know while they said we got 6 million votes, I know we got up to 10 million. So all those who supported us, all those who voted for us, the millions of Nigerians who are now experiencing the outcome of board governance in the last couple of years, we need to engage them to join this movement. We will begin with a series of consultation in the coming days and weeks for birth of this structure of millions, several millions of Nigerians who are tired of status quo and want a birth of new Nigeria. In building this structure, we're going to be totally inclusive and democratic. The process will be transparent. We will consult with so many stakeholders as possible. We want the structure to be citizen-led, so it will be demand-led, not supply-led. Because people have always said to me, why don't you appoint this one? Why don't you do this? I say, no. We're a family. This family will come out with their own structure that they will all believe in and will all monitor and see that this thing. So in it, we've nominated a number of people. I've looked at a number of people, most of you who are in this space, like Madam Bolanle, Madam Aisha, Tomo, Anelo, Favor, Dam, and others that will join for us to start the consultation that is required. It's not going to be all of us that are doing a sacrificing for it. Getting people like Dr. Tanko, who is going around all over the place, and so many others. to join us in trying to build this structure that is required. The people local, the people overseas, and all that. Yesterday I was talking to Mazi and Elomba and everything, telling them this is where we want to go and this is what we want to do, and how to start building the required structure. Because people have always talked about structure. I say, wait, you will see that as we go by. But I'm not deterred, because I listened to the National Democratic Institute lecture. I mentioned it to people. It was wonderful that they talked about opposition and people losing the election. Former Prime Minister of Denmark, I think he's the foreign minister now, he's been Prime Minister 2 times, talked about what happens when you lose the election. What happens to the party? What happens to the people? That is when you really see people in the true sense. That is when you know those who can withstand the sacrifice that is required to be in opposition. And this is the case of where, in a world where nobody is harassing the opposition, in a world where nobody cares about the opposition, so you can imagine what is happening. The NATO secretary, former NATO secretary, who came after him, repeated the same thing of their experience in the UK when they lost the election as Tory party, how everything scattered. And he said it's beginning to happen to them again. He said, but most importantly, if the leader can hold on to what he believes in, with time, some disciples will turn back. Those who left will see reason, because especially when the government in office is not doing the right thing. So I thank all of you who are still here, and urge all of us, let's continue now. The result of this engagement will be formidable structure at national, regional, grassroots level, something that we can call our own as we approach the next cycles of election. The structure will enable us to field and support credible candidates at all levels of government who are committed to new Nigeria. Like Mo said, we're not at this stage talking about party. We're not talking about anything. I continue to tell people my belief that we will have party problems resolved. And whatever comes out, we'll all be together. This structure will enable us to ensure that integrity and competence, because we will design a system that will only allow competent people with capacity and capability to be involved in what we are doing, managing the structure, and being supported in elective posts. So my invitation today is a call for action and cooperation as a team that have mandated those who have mentioned and those who will still join. It's a teamwork. It's not something that will close the door. It's a teamwork. We know all those who believe in what we're doing, and will continue to engage. We need you to help us to recommend people who are competent, capable, have the capacity and the time, people of integrity, to help us in this structure and help us do the right things. We can't preach one thing and do the other. You've seen where people will say, oh, Peter has not done this, he's not done this, he's not done this. What I tell them is that we can't preach peace and be declaring war. We cannot say we want to obey the law. Somebody today called me and said, oh, you sent out a tweet about somebody who is being harassed. Am I aware that he's putting on fake news? And I said to him, that is why we have law courts. When somebody accused me of fomenting problem, trying to lead a protest, which I didn't know about, I didn't call him names. I sought the rule of law, which I'm going to pursue in earnest. That's the way societies are built. Societies are not built by when people call you name, you go and start fighting them on the street, or kidnap them, or harass them. No, that's not the new Nigeria we're talking. The new Nigeria we're talking is where people can say to P2B, you're wrong, because he's a leader. Where people will talk to him and he will listen. Where people will share their ideas with him, because his job as a leader is to listen. His job is to learn. And then if you don't believe in what the person is saying, try to convince him. And when they have a better idea, please, accept it, and implement it. And that is why I like listening. After this introduction, the only thing I can do is to sit down, learn, take notes from you, and that's what I intend to do now.